Carnival Cruise Line last week announced that they're going to continue the suspension of their sailing operations into the year 2021 and actually well into the year 2021. Meanwhile, the Carnival Horizon has arrived in Miami, getting ready to set sail once again. What does all that mean? Well, we're going to get into it. This is Cruise News, Carnival Cruise Style Edition. It is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to all of our friends in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., well, happy Wednesday, happy Thursday to you. This is Adventures in Coriolis. Let's get into this news. So Carnival did it. They announced that they are canceling all cruises for all ports to the end of January 2021. So they won't resume cruising until February 1st, 2021 on any of their vessels. Then they went so far as to say we're only going to be sailing from Port Canaveral and Miami, and rumor has it that they're probably only going to be sailing on two ships, the Carnival Breeze and the Carnival Horizon, when they actually do start back up, and probably on, personally I think, on reduced itineraries, shorter itineraries, and only going to certain ports. So very limited offerings, I believe, from Carnival once they do start back up. But here's what their press release or statement that they put out last week about the cancellations read. They say in this post that they put out on their social medias, as we continue to build and implement our plan to meet the requirements of the Framework for Resuming Cruise Ship Operations Order issued on October 30th by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, or the CDC, we have notified guests that we have canceled additional cruises for the first part of 2021, including all embarkations from U.S. home ports from January 1st to January 31st. Additionally, Baltimore, Charleston, Jacksonville, Long Beach, Mobile, New Orleans, and San Diego embarkations through February 28th, and embarkations on the Carnival Legend out of Tampa through March the 26th. With today's announcement, we confirm that our return to operations will focus initially on Port Canaveral and Miami, to be followed by Galveston. We appreciate the support of our guests, travel advisor partners, and local officials in home ports and destinations. So it looks like Carnival is now beginning to think about this plan that was worked up by the CDC on how they could safely get back into operations again. You remember, I've done a couple videos now sort of talking about the protocols that were proposed by the cruise lines to the CDC, and then that order that I just mentioned that the CDC then issued, sort of limiting sailings and laying out protocols that must be into place before cruise lines could go into operations again. So it seems like Carnival believes, and it's pretty smart if you think about it, that the only way they're going to be able to do that is through only a couple cruise ports at a time and only a ship, maybe one or two ships from each of those ports going out. And then they'll think about, as they mentioned, Galveston, after that, if they see how it goes, about opening more ports up. Now, of course, Miami and Galveston and Port Canaveral are the three biggest cruise ports in the United States, so it makes sense that they would start from those. But it's going to be interesting to see when they actually do start back up. And of course, they're saying February 1st that they'll start back up, and there are some signs that they're working on that, which we'll get to in just a minute. But if things keep going with the pandemic as they are now, just this past week, the CDC put cruises in the very high risk category. It's not what they said was that they're not allowing cruises, but they highly recommend against anyone going on a cruise just because the way things spread on cruise ships. So things aren't really looking good right now for cruising to resume in February, I don't believe, but we do know that Carnival is on its way to working toward those protocols and getting everything ready to hit the seas once again. What's interesting to me about the statement and everything that we know from Carnival so far is that while they said Miami and Port Canaveral cruises would be sailing, they've specifically mentioned the Horizon and the Breeze being the first ones out. That moves us to February 1st. The Mardi Gras is supposed to be on its inaugural sailing on February the 6th, and they've said nothing about it. So that kind of leaves me sort of wondering what might happen to the Mardi Gras if they're going to, push it back further. Either way. Now, I do know that the cruise line is supposed to take ownership of the Mardi Gras next month in December from the shipyard, so they'll actually have the keys, per se, to the ship, and will probably be bringing it towards the United States to get it ready for supposedly those February sailings. However, I'm not too hopeful. I am booked for the inaugural of the Mardi Gras. Very excited about it, but I don't have my hopes up about going on February 6th. I think if they focus on the Horizon and the Breeze, and they don't get to start sailing until February 1st, I don't see how they can squeeze the Mardi Gras in there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have other plans that they haven't been transparent about just yet. But I don't know. It's not really looking good for the Mardi Gras, in my opinion. I think it's going to get pushed back a little bit later because, it's a new ship. Carnival wants to bring it out with all the bells and whistles, all the ceremonies that they can, with all the hoopla that they can. I think this is if they introduce it in February, it's going to be limited capacity sailing with limited guests, limited interactions with, the president and CEO and all that of Carnival Corporation on board, the godmother, all the little events and the ceremonies that they like to have when they christen these new ships. They're not going to be able to do that, I don't think. But if they do, it's going to be severely limited capacity. So we'll see what happens to the Mardi Gras, but it's not been mentioned yet in any of Carnival's plans to reintroduce cruises. Now, one step that they've taken, and one measure that they've taken that shows that they are on the path to sailing again soon, is that the Carnival Horizon actually arrived in Miami this week, which was very exciting news. Here's an image of that from the Port of Miami webcam. She arrived with only crew. Now, a couple videos ago, I did some cruise news and showed you where all the cruises from the Carnival fleet were currently in the world. The Horizon was down in St. Martin, and now we know that she was picking up crew. I guess they were flying into St. Martin, getting on the ship. They have been on the ship for 14 days at least. So they've been on there for the recommended amount of time, and I don't know, I guess there was some checklist that the CDC and, probably U.S. Customs, that the ship had to certify that it had done all these things, that the crew had done all these things, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the ship was apparently safe enough that it could dock in Miami, so it's now there, and from everything that I've read, Carnival has the ship there so that it can begin preparing the ship to meet those protocols that have been implemented by the CDC that all the cruise lines and all the cruise ships have to adhere to before they can sail once again. So it looks like the Horizon is now in place in Miami, probably taking on food, equipment. We know that there have to be some changes made to the airflow systems on the ship. There have to be some staterooms that are certified as, isolation staterooms. So there's some work that it looks like Carnival and the other cruise lines are going to have to do to their ships to make them ready to sail again and to meet the protocols and the limits that have been laid out and expressed in those orders by the CDC. So that's very good news. The first ship out, I think, will be the Horizon, so it's good news now that she's in Miami. She's preparing, she's got her crew, or at least some of her crew. It's probably a limited crew, but they're getting things in motion now toward that February 1st resuming of cruises. So if cruises do go out on February 1st, I do anticipate that the Carnival Horizon will absolutely be one of those ships. I think the Carnival Horizon will be the first ship sailing from the Carnival fleet. I also think the Carnival Breeze up in Port Canaveral, I think we'll see a similar movement from her shortly as well. I think it'll head into a port, it may be Miami also, to begin doing the same thing that the Horizon's doing. We're going to have to continue to wait and see what's going to take place, how the pandemic, things are going to play out with that, and how that all bleeds down to the cruise lines and what they're going to be able to do in terms of reopening and resuming cruises once again. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Carnival's going to be sailing again on February 1st? Again, it's going to be in a limited capacity, as they said, not only in the number of passengers that they allow, but only those two cruise ports, probably only a couple cruise ships. And I think slowly throughout the year, as we see, it may take a couple months, but those cruises, if they go well, that they start reintroducing for Miami and Port Canaveral, I do think that we'll see Galveston open, see how things go there. I think it's going to be a very slow and gradual resumption of cruises across the fleet. Maybe by this time next year, we'll start to see most of the cruise ports open again and sailing again with the ships, or at least the majority of the ships. But I think it's going to take some time, folks. I don't think that, February, these two ships go out from these two ports, and then in March, everybody goes out. I don't think that's what it's going to be like. I think we're going to start seeing more cancellations come down the road. It's going to be a slow reintroduction as they do it in a safe manner. So let's just all take a deep breath. Let's just have a little bit of patience, and let's have a little bit of faith that we're getting near the finish line and we're about to get to go cruising again. So I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, I invite you to please give it a thumbs up down below. Please share it with your friends and on social media. That's very helpful to me and my channel. And also invite you to please subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Or maybe you just haven't subscribed yet. A lot of cruise content coming down the way, including a closer look at the Mardi Gras as she is handed over to Carnival. We're going to take a deeper look into the ship, and also going to be on that inaugural sailing, whether it happens in February or some other month. So thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure.